Okay. Let me set everything up for myself here. Perfect. Okay, I will do a quick post that we are live now. This time we are going live for real. Just an hour before the data is going to drop. We are in now, and we can start to discuss today's content of the live stream. Give me a moment. Let me see if everything is working first of all. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Yes, I think it's working now. Let's go, Crypto J. Welcome, and great to have you back. Okay. Yes, everything is working on my end. Hopefully the same for you guys. Yes, the audio is also here now. So just a quick post that we're live once again. And we have about 16 minutes to discuss before the PCE data is going to come out. Okay, let's start off with discussing some Bitcoin charts and more. Like stated, PC data is about to drop in 60 minutes from now on at 7 p.m. So we went live a little bit earlier, just half an hour ago, but that was a little bit too early actually. So it's better to tune in now once again, because the data will be dropping in 60 minutes. We can discuss it, what we are going to be expecting from it, and what Bitcoin could be doing next from here. Because actually looking into Bitcoin is not looking that good. Bitcoin is coming down ever so slightly over the last few hours. Actually, since yesterday evening, we've been coming down here and making somewhat of a high here at Wednesday, and now coming back down on Friday here towards that 90k level. So not looking that good for Bitcoin actually. Let's zoom in on somewhat of the shorter term here, because I must say it is something we have been kind of predicting in today's update video and the day before. I think for Bitcoin what's going to be the best scenario is going to be another higher low here, and basically the continuation of the uptrend we were trading in here on the very short term. And if we can then see him break back above the yearly open, I think from there we could most definitely see a bullish push higher, since that is basically a perfect setup for Bitcoin here. If we can break the yearly open, and we can clearly see that the yearly open, I don't know, this is the chart on Binance, so it's looking a little bit different here, but we can clearly see that the yearly open is a big resistance for Bitcoin at the current moment. You can just see it on those wicks, and this wick is not a correct one, but we can see it clearly on the wicks that this is big resistance for Bitcoin. So if you can be pushing through these levels from off another higher low, for example, it is going to look good. We could see continuation up to the 100k level, I think, and from there we have to reassess the markets a little bit, in my opinion. Something else we discussed, of course, is this relief rally for Bitcoin. The fact we are now in the relief rally itself, moving up towards the 200 daily moving average trend line, which is looking good indeed. We are moving ever so slightly higher at the current moment towards the 200 daily moving average, which is laying around 106, 107k. By the time we reach it, it might be a little bit lower because, of course, it's a lagging indicator. But looking at 2014, 2018, 2022, midterm years of the post-halving year, actually, we do see that Bitcoin rallies in towards the 200 daily moving average, and then we see rejection back to the downside. So that's why I think that could also be an interesting level to potentially open a short position on Bitcoin here at this exact level, depending on where we are going to be heading next and some small things. But that could be quite interesting. Bitcoin itself, on that longer term, I think we made quite a nice video about it this morning. On the Gaussian channel here, what we're looking into. I think this is going to be an amazing indicator to somewhat predict where Bitcoin could be topping out potentially if the bear market is truly going to hit like it's currently looking like. Because every single time we do see the Gaussian channel flipping negative. Here. Sometimes happens a little bit before, sometimes a little bit after. But usually it goes with breaking the support of the Gaussian channel. So the lower line, the last line. Once you lose that level, the Gaussian channel flips red. And that's usually the moment where Bitcoin loses basically that big support on its first move down. And from off there you can simply see that usually we move ever so slightly lower. Here. And now it could be happening here once again. So let's see about exactly that, but I think this is definitely a very interesting chart. And also if you zoom in the chart itself, you can see Bitcoin is exactly bouncing from off that low of the Gaussian channel, which is probably going to be the moving average 100 trend line. Yeah, very closely correlated with that one, this bull market here. So I do think this is a very interesting indicator to keep our eyes on here for the next few weeks here. Weekly candle is basically on the verge of flipping red. And then, yeah, going into the data, PCE inflation data, one of the most important metrics of the CPI to measure US inflation. The thing why I think this one is going to be a little bit more important is because it's the last inflation data before the next FOMC, of course. What we're looking into is a previous outcome of 2.9% and a forecast of 2.8%. So you do want to see the inflation numbers, so also the PCE coming in lower than expected. That's going to be the best case scenario here, both month on month, year on year. Lower than the forecast, lower than expected. You want to see inflation cooling down because that will give the Fed more room to cut rates. And of course, consumer inflation is what they are looking into the most. We can also look into true inflation to see how the US inflation has been moving here on some other data points. Usually this is a very good indicator. It has been somewhat predicting the CPI in the past. We can clearly see it here. True inflation has been coming down over the last month from November up until December. So maybe we can be seeing lower inflation numbers coming in. But yeah, let's see about that. It are in this case, the September numbers. September, October, November. So we're looking into some delayed data, actually. I think that's still because the US government shutdown. So if we look into September up until October, we are looking into kind of a flat month, I would say. We can see two peaks in that September month, but actually we closed it at 2%. So it would be weird to see like a very big increase in the PCE data. But yeah, it could always be the case. Like stage, you do want to see inflation coming in cooler than expected because that is going to give the Fed room to cut rates. And that can also keep the rate cut probabilities here high for Bitcoin. And that's going to be important because this seems to be like one of the final bullish catalysts that is holding the Bitcoin price ever so slightly together here in the last few weeks. Because actually, if you, for example, are going to look into Polymarket, I think I can't be doing so now. Let me check if I can turn on. I'll quickly turn on my VPN. 1 second. Okay. Now we should be back into Polymarket. If we then are going to look into the rate cut decision here for December, there we can clearly see some interesting stuff. If you're going to compare it with the Bitcoin price at the 28th of October, we were at 90% probability of a 25 BPS rate cut. If you're then going to get on the Bitcoin chart, we will take this one actually. It's 5-minute chart. Let's grab the daily chart and then mark 28th of October. I think that was actually in high for Bitcoin, or not in high, but it came quite close. 28th of October here, 90% chance of a 25 BPS rate cut, 28, 29. So indeed, it marked a high for Bitcoin here, I would say. And after we saw the rate cut probabilities coming down here towards all the way to 22% actually. So at this moment, nobody was expecting rate cuts anymore. That was the date of, let me see, November the 20th. Look at that. And probably also same can be said November 21. Yeah, look, November 21 it came a little bit up together, but I think it's going to be fair to say that the turn in the rate cut probabilities here, which you can see on Polymarket, back up towards the levels we are trading into now, that marked the exact low for Bitcoin, and since then we have seen a bounce back up over 16%, which equals price move of, what is it, 13k, which is quite insane. Quite the amazing bounce, or even more actually, I think. No, 13k, about 13 to 14k. So that shows you how big the effect of those rate cut odds actually is. Here we were at 90%, like I stated earlier, 19% rate cut odds. And at the low, we were at 22. And now we are back at about, I think the high of the rate cut was what, 94 here. So you could say that Bitcoin might be a little bit undervalued looking into this. But I think the effect is clear, right? I think it's hard to argue that the rate cut probabilities are having a big effect on Bitcoin here. The data clearly proves it here. So that's why it's going to be so important. You can be looking into Polymarket itself. You can also be looking into FedWatch here. And there the odds are usually somewhat the same. Polymarkets tend to be, or Polymarket trades tend to be a little bit more optimistic. Do you think Bitcoin will will fill the 4-hour imbalance today? Also eat and others. Could be. Could be. I don't know. I find it quite hard to predict because I think the upcoming data will be affecting the markets by a lot actually. The only way it's not going to affect the markets is going to be in print exactly like predicted. So no difference in data points. But actually, if the data is going to come in worse than expected, I think the rate cut odds are going to drop quite heavily. And if it's going to come in like expected, not a lot will happen. And if the inflation is going to come in very cool, we can maybe move a little bit higher, but there's not that much room to move higher anymore. The market is basically pricing in a 25 BPS rate cut here. Also, what I do want to discuss is of course I did close my Ethereum trading position on Lbank time ago. We did make a nice profit. I must say, and I don't want to be that guy like I told you so did that, but we did actually close our Ethereum trade at the local top here at the 3.2k. You can just watch the three last update videos, and there you can simply see what we did with the Ethereum trade. But now that one's closed, we did take some profits, not that big, but just good profits, and I think also some other people that were in the Ethereum trade themselves. Now we are potentially looking into opening a short position on Bitcoin here. I would say potentially, if I'm going to see a lot of signals that this time is going to be different and we indeed break higher for Bitcoin, for crypto, we might be opening a new long position and just trying to reassess the markets here. I think the market is still very uncertain. I want to look into all of the data. That's why we have been live streaming all of the important data up until the FOMC. Every single weekday we have been here with the data. I hope you guys also value that and you guys learn something from it, because I'm learning every single day out of all the data, and I'm trying to build my market view based on the data, based on what the Fed is going to do next, how the monetary policy for 2026 is going to look like, because I think that is going to be the most logical thing to do here up until, basically 2026, where I think a lot of interesting stuff could be happening also regarding the monetary policy, regarding crypto. I think 2026 could surprise a lot of people, so I do want to be well prepared. If you do want to be the same, if you do want to be well prepared, make sure to also come over and check out this bonus on Lbank. You can claim this bonus with the link in the description on this update or on this live stream actually. 50% deposit bonus and a $100 bonus, 5k generous refund, deposit bonus up to 2.5k. Make sure to come and check it out if you're getting interested in that, because you can build quite a big position actually just because of the bonuses on Lbank. You can be claiming as a new user. So make sure to check it out for yourself. If you do want to start trading ETH, Bitcoin, a lot of different altcoin pairs, I'm personally trading myself here. And yeah, you can find the link in the description on the live stream. There you can also claim that bonus. I think it's going to be available for a few more days here. So make sure to check it out if you're getting interested in that, because I think it's going to be a good opportunity. Regarding ETH itself, I think actually it's not looking that good there. I want to say I think it's looking well, but what I do see now, and I think this is going to be a critical level for ETH to hold above. Look at that 50 weekly moving average. I think if ETH is going to close the weekly candle now below this 50 weekly moving average, it is most definitely going to show some weakness here. And actually we just reclaimed that level. But I would say if we are going to close below it, we could see somewhat of a continuation lower. Maybe ETH can even make a new low in that case. Just looking purely at the price action. And if we can close above it, I think ETH can see a continuation towards the bull market support band. And that could mark somewhat of a relief rally here, before also trending lower with the trend, or breaking above the bull market support. But there's always going to be a possibility, but I'm just talking about the most likely scenarios here. Just talking about the most likely scenarios. Also, if you have some questions before the data is going to hit the market in about 40 minutes, make sure to drop it in the chat. Quick sip of water. Let's see what else we can discuss here. Maybe some news. I have not been on the news here for the last few minutes. Yeah, Kevin Hestad was indeed saying that the Fed should stay cautiously cutting rates, which is interesting because Kevin Hestad himself is the favorite to get chosen as the new Fed chair by Trump. Where can we see it? Who will Trump nominate as the new Fed chair? Kevin has said there's a chance of over 70% here, so that is quite amazing. Tom Lee is very bullish for 2026. Indeed, I've seen his interview, or not interview, but speech at the Binance events. He's indeed quite bullish, and he has good reason to do so because he's also holding a lot of ETH, biggest holder actually. It's quite insane how much they hold and how much they're still buying. So they're definitely serious about what they're doing. Ethereum strategic reserve. I think he's right. Also bullish, a surprise isn't. It's true. I'm also very bullish on ETH long term. Very bullish on ETH. And like stated, I think 2026 could very well turn out to be a very good year. It doesn't have to start very good, but I think it will be turning out good. Here ETH reserve 3.73 million. Over $11 billion worth of ETH. Quite insane. They own over 3% of the ETH supply. And they're already 60% on the way of their target. So that's quite insane. Market will do its thing anyway. Let's see. It indeed will. It most definitely will. But it is insane how much they've been buying, and I know he's still very bullish on ETH, and I think he has good reason to do so. Eventually, it's going to turn out well for Bitcoin. I think if they will survive, if we are going to see a bear market, and they survive the entire bear market, then it's going to be absolutely fine. Bitcoin will do amazingly, I think. Tom Lee is a great chairman. The only thing for them is, which is going to be important, is they must not get liquidated before they get there, you know. If we are going to see the true bear market hit. And what I do find kind of fascinating, I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but every single day when I look into the Bitcoin charts, what I find quite amazing is that how fast actually Bitcoin has been coming down here. If you look into the potential cycle top, where we have been moving towards, then actually if you compare it with the other bear markets, from the cycle top, for example, here 2021, you can see that it did take much longer before we, for example, broke below the Gaussian channel. Looking to 2021, we did not touch the Gaussian channel. Now we did do it. So if Bitcoin is going to drop lower now, it would be one of the fastest moving bear markets ever, regarding how fast Bitcoin drops below all the important technical levels and stuff. I find that kind of fascinating. That makes me believe that it would be so weird if Bitcoin is going to drop much low from here, but also that's going to be an absolutely amazing opportunity, I think, because then I think we are not going to see a very long bear market, to be honest. How long, Miss Crypto, how low do you think ETH could drop in a bear market? Let's overlay it and see if we can logarithmic, or we will just make a completely new one with ETH. I think that's going to be a little bit better. Ethereum. Gaussian channel. Just want to see how this is looking like for ETH. For ETH, it does look a little bit different than Bitcoin. But yeah, in a true bear market, I would say if we are going to see that drop lower for Bitcoin, I think it's going to be a likely scenario that we are going to take the low of the tariffs, and yeah, potentially if it's going to be like a true bear market, you could drop a little bit lower to see the true capitulation. Maybe this could be an interesting level for ETH. if you're really going to see a bull market or a bear market. But I would say, or maybe this one actually, I think this is a little bit more realistic. The 1K level and then the tariff level, maybe somewhere in between those levels, I could see ETH dropping there. And yeah, potentially if it's like going to be, if you're going to have like crazy capitulation events, maybe even lower. But I don't know, to be honest. It is still hard to predict, I think. It's also for me going to depend how quickly Bitcoin is going to drop from off this level. Like we were just discussing how fast things are going to move, because I think because the cycle top has been so different with no euphoria, I think there's also going to be a possibility that the bear market will look a little bit different than it has been doing so before after euphoria top, because I think it's different. But yeah, we don't know about potential black swans coming up, potential major liquidation events. So much stuff can happen. Most retail think the bear market. Most retail think bears for sure. That's why I think it won't happen. Of course, we can still drop lower, but not too heavily as in former bears. Yes, I think so too. I think we won't drop as low as the other bear markets, to be honest. We will go even lower to grab liquidity. 600 to 700 ETH in the bear market. I think it would be an absolute gift. I will be stacking a lot of ETH in that case, like I have also been doing with the tariffs here. Actually, going back to ETH, in 2025 I made my best trades actually just on buying spot on ETH during the tariffs here, all the way from 2K up until the tariffs low. I had been buying Ethereum spot during those weeks, and those turned out to be some of my best investments this bull market. So that was absolutely amazing. And then I did take a lot of profits, and you can watch all of this back on my YouTube channel. I did take a lot of profits at that 4K level for ETH. And at first people were laughing at me here, but actually I got out of the market at this exact moment. I missed all of this, indeed this upside, so 20%. But I missed also, what I missed out on is all of this pain back to the downside. So that is why I'm always super certain about taking my profits. If I've been setting my levels, I will be taking my profits on the levels I have been talking about. And we saw the clear range high for ETH. It was obvious that we are going to face into some big resistance. ETH went on and made new all-time highs. Absolutely amazing. We made a trade there also. But I think for spot, we moved it all the way from 1.4K to 4K. So it was absolutely amazing. And we will be doing so once again in the bear market. And I can already starting to see on the channel that the interest is getting a little bit lower. My videos are getting less views. So I can simply see that people are giving up now. They're leaving the markets. But actually we are, during the entire bear market, we are going to be accumulating ETH, Bitcoin, also just on spot positions. We will be opening leverage trades, but also spot. And I think we will be doing very well. But the most important thing is that you're not going to give up now. And if you got liquidated or something, or if you don't have anything left, just find a job, and start making some money to invest once again during the bear market. Because if there's going to be a huge bear market, we should be taking some advantage of it. Because that's where the true money is going to be made during the bear markets. That's the honest truth. In 30 minutes, we have the PCE data dropping. So let's see how it will be looking like here. Very interested to see how it will be coming out. And for the people that are new, which are dropping in now, what we are looking into here, PCE, price inflation data, consumer inflation data, basically super important metric for the Fed. Based on this data, they also make their rate cut decisions because they don't want to see inflation coming in too high, because actually what they're trying to do is a soft landing. They don't want to have very high inflation by cutting rates, so they want to slowly cut rates and also make sure they have inflation under control, and that's how they slowly want to stimulate the economy to get the labor market back up. That's what you are seeing happening in the USA. So for the Fed to see inflation coming in higher is kind of a worse thing, a very bad thing actually. So we do want to see the print coming in lower than expected, because that is going to mean that the rate cut odds are going to stay stable here for the next meeting or move up a little bit more. And if you're looking into the data itself, you have the month-over-month, year-over-year. Month-over-month is 0.3, year-over-year 2.7. So for the year over year, let's hope it comes out lower than 2.8 because that's the forecast. So the forecast is that the inflation rises a little bit, but yeah, that happens a lot of time, definitely during an easing cycle. Month over month 0.3, so you do want to see it coming in lower than that number, the forecast. A great decision on each position, Goose. Stick to your plan. That's the only thing. Most definitely. And we will be doing so with each other, with the community during the bear market. We are just going to accumulate and mostly spot, so we don't have all of the headache of what we are seeing now for markets, Because if you look into the Bitcoin charts or just the Bitcoin chart over the last year, it's actually kind of insane. 12 monthly candle. Look what kind of yearly candle we have been trading. If you would have been buying at the beginning of the year, now your position would be looking exactly the same, basically. So, yeah, if you're just a spot investor, this year has been only noise, nothing else. Quite insane, actually. It's a very weird yearly candle. I'm curious to see how it will be closing. Yearly candle looks most like 2015. 2021 maybe 2019, but for now we have not seen this year kind of yearly candle before. Will we rich next bull market? Most definitely. Let's go. I remember you were stacking for the bottom. Yeah, we have been stacking from off the bottom together. It's also because of the help of you guys. Exactly what I think. I'm seeing most people buying the dead cat bounce playing out. That's why I'm thinking it won't play out. Yeah, I would say be very cautious with your trading positions now because the market is looking very uncertain. You can most definitely be betting on a dead cat bounce. I know enough people doing so. I rather wait a little bit to see what's going to happen at this next level. And we are going to have a lot of opportunities. I don't necessarily need to short the exact top of the bull market here or the relief rally. I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities. Because, for example, what we saw with E during the tariffs, just look how obvious it was in hindsight. And of course, it's always easy to say something was obvious in hindsight, but for ETH, it was different. And I was very vocal about it. Look at the monthly. This is also just somewhat of an hack you can be looking into yourself. Ethereum Binance chart for all of the data, RSI, on a monthly time frame, and then simply look into what happened during those tariffs. Simply look into this. Can you see it? Literal bear market lows on a monthly RSI, on a major macro trend on ETH. We got some bear market lows. Ethereum dropped all the way back towards the 2017, even lower than the 2017 cycle top. So yeah, when I saw all of this stuff, I was like, I need to buy more ETH. It was so obvious. So obvious. I'd like to say it's easy to talk in hindsight, but we also did take action on it. On the other hand, it also makes me wonder, like, if we hit these RSIs so early during the cycle. I think the tariffs were sort of a black swan event, maybe, if you're looking back into it. The only thing is that, like, Trump was saying it, but nobody believed that he was truly going to announce those tariffs. And once he did, like, the market got in so much panic. Absolutely insane. For example, for ETH, it was a black swan event. Because just remember that we did hit these RSI levels with the FTX collapse. It was insane. So yeah, ETH hitting that RSI now, doing those tariffs, makes me wonder, yeah, will we see another low on the RSI? It's a good question. So yeah, enough about the rant on ETH. Quick sip of water. Let's just see from up here. Also, I just didn't update. This was wrong, actually. Like I stated earlier, I did make a mistake. I did make a mistake earlier. The true bull run will start next year. It really depends on when in the when it could be kicking off. But yeah, the only way I see bull run happening in 2026 is the announcement of QE, and then probably a major shakeout like we saw with COVID. Because what we do have to keep in mind, everybody is talking about QE, of course, QT, QE, this, that. You can't escape it now, but actually the reason why, for example, QE gets started is always because the US economy is doing very bad and a lot of stimulus is needed. And the last time we saw it was actually during COVID here. So if we are going to see a transitioning from QT to QE, like we saw here, this was QT, then we got QE basically. If we are going to see that transition once again here, with now basically QT already stopped here and maybe somewhat here, QE getting started, let's see. If you're going to see that transitioning once again, probably it's going to happen because of something, and can be a lot of things, but probably it's going to be something with not a lot of people are going to be expecting, like COVID. So maybe a black swan event, something like that. Me myself, I'm thinking we could most definitely see an asset bubble, an AI asset bubble, for example. I think AI is in the major asset bubble now. So what could, for example, happen is the market is going to panic because the Fed maybe is going to be a little bit more hawkish at some moment. Just thinking here, we could see a big market correction, maybe some AI companies getting in a lot of trouble, Nvidia, a lot of stuff. The thing with all of these AI companies is that a lot of US households are heavily invested into the US stock market, and the US stock market is now a big part of the US stock market is Nvidia. So if a company like that is going to get into problems, which could always happen, in my opinion, it could happen, and it's still black swan because nobody's expecting this. But if it's going to happen and gets in trouble, I think there's no high probability that the Fed could bail Nvidia out, for example, because it's simply too big to fail, I think. And there's also too much interest to keep Nvidia big for the USA themselves. So maybe we could see them bailing Nvidia out. You also have the possibility that just the banks are going to fall once more, because that also happens a lot. If you look into that Raypon data we got out, we can see that there's a lot of liquidity stress within the banking system now. So a lot of possibilities, but just to be short, I think for true QE getting started, something bad will happen with the market first. And once that is going to happen, it is, I think, going to mark a major bottom for the markets, I think. Like a major, major bottom. That would be a moment, if everything is going to play out like I'm telling you now, then I will be scaling in with most of what I own, actually. At a moment like that, I think that's going to be a generational opportunity. Fed could not cut rates more because tariffs kept inflation sticky. Yes, I think we have not seen that big of an increase because of tariffs yet. I do think tariffs are inflationary. There's no question about that. But on the other hand, I think tariffs just caused a lot of uncertainty for the longer term monetary policy. I think that's the big problem. On the data itself, we are not seeing a big increase in inflation yet. So let's see. Data in about 20 minutes from here, so we are getting close. I'm very interested to see how it is going to look like today. I will do a quick reminder on X also. What is Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin is coming back down quite aggressively now. Let's hope that we can hold above 90k. Let's draw a line. Let's see. The blue line is 90k. Mm-mm-mm. How much could the next all-time high be? Phew. Bitcoin is ooh, big, huge dump below 19k, 90k. Breaking. Bitcoin drops below 90k. So crazy wick also. Huge buy orders at the 90k level basically. How much could the next all-time high be? Pro, it's a hard question. I think we can make better predictions if we have some more price data from here, to be honest. But the next, yeah, just a range for like the next bull market, I think it would make sense for Bitcoin to move to about 200 to 300k. Mr. a buy at the current prices? Yes, I think Mr. is actually in Mr. is very undervalued, I think. But I also think it could be dropping ever so slightly lower. Because I don't necessarily think, just looking at the data, the Bitcoin, there is a high chance that the Bitcoin bottom isn't in than that it is in at the current moment. But yeah. Normally we dump after the data. It really depends. But I think the hard thing is with today's data is that the rate cuts are already quite high. So there is more potential downside than there is upside left. That is something I've been seeing with a lot of data points lately. And usually now, since the rate cuts are a little bit high, there is not that much room to see like a big pump, but there is like room to see a big dump. That's what I have been seeing with all of the latest data. So yeah, but yeah, data will be coming in about 50 minutes. Maybe some insiders know how the PCA data is looking like. I don't know. But yeah, Bitcoin's definitely coming down so slightly. But also a very nice bounce actually. Pump and dump week. Maybe. We did indeed erase most of this pump, but on the other hand, we came from 84k. So we are still up 8%. Yeah, the next bull market. Yeah, I would say between 200 and 300k. Next bull market. But it will depend on a lot of stuff, of course. Almost there, guys. 15 minutes. Let's see if we have some for the new guys also dropping in, new people dropping in. If you do want to start trading yourself, Bitcoin, ETH, smaller altcoins, make sure to come and check out Lbank, where you can claim your 50% deposit bonus up to 2.5k and a generous refund up to 5k. Make sure to come and check it out if you get interest in that. I'm chilling anyways, bought at the bear market lows and now in huge profits anyways. Yeah, then it doesn't matter that much. There you know yourself also that it's usually the best to just buy spot, wait for bear markets, buy spot and just sit out and chill. Enjoy the volatility of the crypto markets without being invested too crazily. I will hold until the next highs. Okay. But did you also take like some profits already on your spot? Because I also still have some spot, no significant amounts anymore. Because like stated on the channel earlier, By far my biggest position was ETH at some moment. Like 80% of my portfolio was ETH, and I did sell most of it at the 4K mark from off the 1.5K level. So yeah, I'm personally not that invested anymore. And for altcoins, I discuss it a lot of times. I do want to see how the monetary policy is going to look like, because I think we have learned our lesson. Brother, I'm 66% down. Any advice for me what to do? Of course, no financial advice. But I think you're talking about a trading position then, because if it's a spot position, and I also don't think, I also don't know what this is. Is it an altcoin, Bitcoin, ETH? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's hard for me to say anything if I don't know that. But I don't know. Manage your position. Be careful. Maybe put in a stop loss. But yeah, I don't know what you're trading, so it's very hard for me. You could be trading like Bitcoin or like the shittest out of shit coins. But still, just look at alt, but still have ETH. Yeah. Yeah, for alts, it's insane. It could be the next bug story. Yeah. I do understand why a lot of people are just holding on their alts now, because looking at alts versus Bitcoin, yeah, how much lower can it actually go? I think there is a good possibility that Bitcoin is going to come lower more aggressively than altcoins, because it would make sense. Altcoins haven't been coming up with Bitcoin, so why would they be coming down all the way back with Bitcoin? Because it doesn't make sense liquidity wise, I think. Freddy Falcon, no advice. Yeah, but I don't know. It's I can give my opinion, on certain stuff, but if I don't know the details, it's hard. Of course, it's never financial advice. Data in about 12 minutes now, so we are getting close. So let's see how it will be looking like here. What do we have coming out? Bank of America says markets may start betting more aggressively on January rate cut despite Fed's cautious messaging. Okay, interesting. I'm eager to see what is the expectation for it next year. The expectation for next year is still that the Fed is not going to cut rates in Jan. March chances are bigger that we will see another cut again. Interesting. Yeah, we also going to look forward into 2026, guys. It's so crazy. Look how the year has been flying by. So much has happened this year. And we just have, what is it, about 25 days left this year. So crazy. We are looking into the Gen data now in March and April. Absolutely insane how fast the time is going. But I'm also down on some alts, but I hold them. They will go up for sure at some point. Yeah, if you're just willing to hold and wait and you think it are good alts, why not? Keep cool, keep strong. Most definitely. Hard one, Freddy Fogg. No one should advise you in what to do with your money. I lost a lot trying to copy trade some of CT. What I personally think, and I also tell it a lot of people in our trading group. A lot of people in our trading group are there to copy trade and copy me over all the traders here. Like they have a different style, but I always tell them what, in my opinion, the best thing to do is, once joining a group like this, is come in, look at all the different styles of trading, and then you have two choices. You can start focus on just one and master one, not copy trade, but learn from the trades themselves. Ask questions. How do you trade? Just learn from them. They are here to learn from, and people think they're only here to copy trade from, but actually you should be trying to learn something from them, to create your own strategy, and from there you can become a more profitable trader. I think that's the biggest mistake people make. And if you have someone who is doing very good for himself, for example, it doesn't mean his trades will also be doing fine, because you will always see every copy trade you make from someone will always be the bad one, and you will always miss out on the good ones. That is normally how it goes. For most people, it is the honest truth. But just try to create something for yourself, something for the long term. It's much better. And I tell people it in the group all the time. We are really trying to make people into profitable traders. Doesn't matter if they want to scalp trade, support resistance zone, Fibonacci level, sentiment based, hybrid, order flow. Doesn't matter for us. All of that stuff is in here. We also have high conviction. We have, as a guess, he usually shares spot position. So ICP shared spot position that went up over 50 or over 19% in the group. So that's quite insane what he did here. He always buys on spot. He isn't even leverage trading, but yeah, it is quite insane how he has been moving. Then Razel, order flow trading. I think he's a very good trader. A lot of good results. He's I don't know if he shared recently, but his account is up in the millions this bear market or this bull market only. So yeah, that's absolutely insane. He had some crazy calls on different coins. Absolutely insane. Polaris here, also a very good trader. I think one of the most skilled traders out there. Look at this swing, insane. ARP, nice to start the swing. We pretty much sniped the bottom, plus 300%. Absolutely amazing. Very good. And then with Cryptex, more of a scalp trader also. Always doing a lot with the community here. I don't want to show too much, to be honest, but yeah, Cryptex also an amazing trader. Always trying to move with the community, trying to help the community. With Mario, same can be said for him. He's dropping a lot of guides in the channel, which makes him very unique. He has been dropping guides from how you can be trading, risk management, emotions, a lot of stuff. It's truly educational. It's a very good channel, I would say. But in the end, you yourself have to make the best of it. That's going to be the truth. But back to the charts. Enough shilling off the channel. You can join channel with the link in the description on the live stream if you are getting interested, by the way. But yeah, just to tell you, it's only for the people that want to make something from it. In the description you can find all the links. Back to Bitcoin, 5-minute chart. In about 7 minutes we have the data dropping. So what is it going to look like? Good bounce for Bitcoin. For the 19k level. Guys, just check, make this out too. It's the most piece. I don't really appreciate shilling of coins in the chat, so I'm going to mute that. Because most of the times these are scams. I'm going to put you in a timeout. No way we are going to shill shitcoins in my chat. We don't need that. Pushing up the like button, I see. Thank you so much. Smash on that like button. In in about 6 minutes we have the data. Expectations, pump or dump? What are your guys' expectations? I think maybe a dump, to be honest. Looking at Bitcoin. Let's see. It will be on a month-over-month, year-over-year. Let's see how it will be looking like once again. Mm-mm. 5 minutes. Back to the rate cut odds. Dump hard. Okay, sentiment is not that good. Shit. Okay, there we go. Data in 4 minutes. Data in 4 minutes. Let's see. Rate cutoffs are going to dump or pump, and Bitcoin price will be reacting on this. Bro was invested in December 2022, 24 in major alts like ETH, a lot of others. My portfolio has been wrecked since. You do suggest me to hold or just sell them? It really depends on what your long-term strategy is going to be. Do you really believe in these altcoins? If so, why? And okay, that's fine. If this is the case, I would advise to just DCA further into your or not advise. I would be trying to DCA further into these altcoins during the bear market, because if you truly have conviction in it, the bear market is going to be the time where you do want to be buying these alts. So yeah, why sell your position if you can be building a bigger position if you do have a lot of conviction in these alts? If that is not the case, if you don't have conviction in some of them, just sell them, I would say, because otherwise you are going to panic sell them in a move lower. I'm quite certain of that. So be honest with yourself. In which coins do you really believe? Which ones not? For example, ETH for myself, I could see myself holding ETH. Also during periods where it is not going that well. Sol, for example, also XRP maybe. I'm not myself that big of a fan of XRP. AVAX, Algo, Link, Tron. Link is a good one, Tron maybe also, but yeah, AVAX, Algo, I don't know, to be honest. Okay, data in 3 minutes. There we go. Bitcoin falls below. Oh, this was an earlier notification. Hold. Yes. Nah, I don't know if it really depends on if he has conviction in it. If you have the conviction, why not just hold? That's my opinion. Okay. Yeah, bear market low for ETH if you look into it like this. Maybe. Double bottom. Super cycle. Let's see. Liquidity below 90k. Yes, I think people are probably going long on 19k now. Let's see. 2 minutes. The most important data in quite some time here. PCE inflation data. Is the inflation going to cool down or is it going to heat up? And will it make the life of the Fed easier or once again a little bit harder? That's going to be the question. Data in 1 minute. Data in 1 minute. What is it going to be? Oh shit. Bitcoin remains above 90k. 90k. Okay, there we go. It's 7 for me. It's time. It's coming out now. Okay, there it is. 0.3, 2.8. I think it's exactly like predicted. Maybe coming in lower than expected. Yeah, lower than expected inflation. Very bullish. Bullish data. Okay, I'm quickly going to post it. Good data. It looks good. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Pumping. Inflation coming in lower than expected, actually. That is quite amazing. There we go. Dang, we go, bulls. we are bouncing back up. Let's see what Bitcoin can be doing next year. I think Bitcoin is bouncing ever so slightly because the core, and we can look into it here, year-over-year inflation has been coming down here, month over month. We're looking into here. PCE price inflation index month over month 0.3, 0.3. So month over month is like expected. Index year over year is well, actually, here's I see if read that the expected was 2.9%. The expected data differs in some places. Actually, but it is definitely it's good data. It is good data. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Pumping back up. Good to see. Pumping back up. Quite a nice bounce. Let's see what those rate cut odds are doing then. $87. Not moving here yet. Let's look at Poly market. Poly market actually came down a very little bit. Oh no, it moved 1% higher actually. Okay, it's not doing a lot, but the data is good, because if inflation would have been coming in very hot, it would have been quite a big problem. I think we get the close above 94k of the data. It would be very bullish, because if we get a close above 94k, now I would say if you really want like a bullish close, it would probably be like 95k. Above that yearly open, like a good a close above the yearly open, that's going to be the most bullish scenario now, I think. But yeah, based on the data, I don't know. It's still a large way up, and we have been getting rejected a lot of times. If this was indeed another low for Bitcoin, now we can be moving higher. Another higher low, like we have been predicting, by the way. Then and we attack it now. I think there's going to be a good likelihood we break through the yearly open now, and we continue with the bullish structure. We continue up higher. So yeah, that's indeed where it gets interesting. ETH. How's ETH performing here? ETH is liking the data as far as I can see here. 5 minutes. Yeah, huge bump for ETH. For ETH, it's even more important. Let's put it besides Bitcoin. Very nice. Going to do a quick post on X. One moment. Is Bitcoin going to take out the high here? It's the big question. Finally, good news. Finally. Eat. Yeah, let's see how this will be continuing then here. It is looking good. And I think we almost certainly are going to get a rate cut now, next week. Nothing is stopping a rate cut here. Nothing is going to stop a rate cut here anymore. Nothing. It's not reloading. I think a lot of people are using the site. In 5 days we have the FOMC. And remember guys, if you do want to start trading yourself, make sure to come over and claim your bonus on LBank. 2.5k deposit bonus, 5k generous refund. You can open your first position with this bonus on LBank with the link in the description on this live stream. I will quickly show it for the people interested, because it is probably going to be a good opportunity for most. Will be available for a few more days here. Make sure to come and check it out. You do a great job, thanks. It's my pleasure. I enjoy live streaming a lot with all of you guys. Definitely once we finally pump a little bit, because it has been quite some time. We are working down now a little bit. See how it plays, then cheers for the update. Looks good. So yeah, no problem. It looks good indeed. Coming back down a little bit now, but I think you can see based on the market reaction that it likes the data, most definitely. It really likes the data. Okay guys, make sure to drop your final questions. It's getting a little bit late here for me. Had a long day, so since we've seen the data, I think the move is also stagnating a little bit here. If you still have something, make sure you drop it now, and otherwise I will be ending the stream in about in a few minutes here. But yeah, this was the last data of the week. We have been live streaming the data all week. I do see a lot of familiar names, from which I do know they have been watching a lot of the data we have been live streaming here lately. So thanks you all for that. We actually had one of the most viewed live streams here with the Fetcher Powell speech. That was absolutely amazing. Yeah, we just did very good. I've been silent, but thanks for the stream. I remember you. No problem. And thank you so much for watching once again. Sometimes it's also nice to just watch in silence. Okay, guys. Thank you all so much. I don't think I will be live tomorrow, because nothing will happen. Maybe at Sunday again to discuss next week. But let's see about exactly that. Next week we have more data. I will be updating about this in tomorrow morning's update video. What we will be live streaming here. Because on Tuesday we have, for example, some job data still, and on Monday we have some consumer. Monday we don't have a lot of important stuff actually. So I think on Tuesday, Wednesday, definitely Wednesday is the FOMC, so definitely come and watch that. That is the thing we have been waiting for. And then on Thursday we have jobless claims and more and more stuff once again. So it is going to be a super interesting weeks, and I hope you guys did enjoy it once again. Thank you, dude. See you at the next one, guys. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, evening. Depends on which time zone you're currently in. But thank you all, guys, for watching once again. And I will be seeing you guys in my next update video tomorrow morning, or my next live stream later.